Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's ODTN use case team call. Thanks for joining. We had last month, and I thought that now there was time to get some more updated elements from everybody, and I wanted to also do it after the break for the summer. So welcome back, everybody. I have a few items on the agenda. Some of them I will cover, some of them I will ask different folks to cover. The first one that I know Roberto is doing great work on the Open Rodent driver, and he also has also performed some scale tests. So Roberto, do you want to give us an update on that?
Okay. What kind of update do you mean? I have some slides to explain what are the updates to the Open Rodent driver. If you like, I can show them.
Yes, please. That would be great, actually.
Okay. May I share the screen?
Yes, please do.
Okay. So, do you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Okay, this is just a short introduction about the Open Rodent driver. That let's say a long story. It was initially developed in the framework of the Metro project, and the first release was showcased at the ECOC 2018 during the demo session. And the current version will be used for the two final project demos that are currently ongoing. But what is the point here? The point here is that according to the Open Rodent model, the port names are as a local scope, as a scope based on the secret pack on which they are implemented, and this is directly taken from the model. And as you can see here, the port name is a string inside a circuit pack that is again a string. Being a local having a local scope, the port names have always to be put together with the circuit pack name, because we can have similar port names in different circuit packs. Currently, the Open Rodent driver in ONOS uses let's say a proprietary solution that we adopted in the Metro project, that is the port name is extracted from the label field. What's the main point here is that according to ONOS requires up to now integer identifiers for the port names, while in the model, Open Rodent model, they are strings. Being not so straightforward to extract a number, a unique number starting from strings, the implementation at the beginning of the development was to overload the label leaf, to overload the label leaf, and to put the value of the integer value of the identifier, the port identifier, inside it. But actually, the label field is an optional label, as you can see from the question mark in this representation, and it's again a string. What I proposed was to use a different approach for this, to have the numbers. the identifiers. Here, maybe I am recalling what I have already said, that ONOS uses integers, that OpenROADM port names have local scope, that both port names and secret path names are strings, and it's not so simple to have to extract a single identifier from those strings, because different vendors may have different way of encoding the names of the ports, and different way of using separators, slash, dots, hyphens, and so on. So I am saying again that we were using the label leaf that has a different purpose, and starting from the latest specification has also changed its name from starting from label to faceplate label. The proposal here is to have a look. We have two different proposals for degrees, that are the line ports, and for SRGs, there are the client ports. For degrees is to look at these mandatory leaves that are degree number and index. Index contained within connection ports. And connection ports, as stated in the recommendation, list the ports that connect externally to the line transmission fibers. So we have those are exactly the ports that we need to identify in ONOS. And starting from these two leaves that are both integers, one is like 16-bit integers and the other one is at 32-bit integers, we can somehow, for example, multiply the degree number by 10 and adding the index of the connection port, we can obtain the unique identifier we need. Then, okay, we are here is how the data store may appear. Degree number is a unique identifier, and sorry, I go back to the previous slide, because being degree number and index, the keys for those lists, they have to be unique. And please note also that both the leaves are mandatory. So we have them for sure. They must be present inside a data store, and data store may appear something like this. And we may, for example, take degree number, multiply it by 10, and add 0 for one of the two connection ports, and 1 for the other one, and have the two identifiers. For SRG is a little bit more complicated, because we have a SRG number to identify the share risk group. And again, this is the key for the list, so it's a unique identifier, but we don't have an identifier for the port inside the SRG. So we have to rely on something that is declared on, not in the model itself, but in the white paper that contains a recommendation how to encode and to use the model. And the recommendation there are to name the port something like you see here. Sorry, SRG. I was trying to highlight, so maybe I can highlight it. Moving to this view, you can see here. Is the recommendation for in the white paper is to name the port something like SRG NPPI, And so the second identifier may be taken from the I following the double P. And then again to compose, it can be composed, then the identifier needed by ONOS can be composed from starting from this number and the SRG number contained in the data store. I prepared the contribution that is uploaded to the Garrett site, the location that Andrea was showing at the beginning of the call. And it's more or less all. If you have any question.
I think that looks great, Roberto. Is the patch ready to be? Is it the final state of code that can be reviewed by everybody?
Yeah, from my point of view, yes.
Okay, sounds good. Then I'll take an action item. Do you mind if I take back the screen sharing?
Yeah, you can. No problem. You can take the screen.
So yes, this is the patch that Roberto was talking about. So I'll take an action item on myself to review it in the next upcoming days. So if it looks good, we can merge it. Does anybody have any thoughts, questions about this?
Andrea, may I add only one bit of information?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
The patch implements also a modification that is not strictly related to the ONOS identifiers, but that is, I realize it's necessary to let the driver work with real devices, because up to now we tested it using most of all, or either emulators or prototypes. The one, for example, we used at the ACOC demo in 2019 was a prototype, but they are very simple implementation. When I tried to let ONOS control the real devices from a device vendor that we have in our lab, I'm not sure I can disclose the name, but maybe I don't think it's very important for the discussion.
That's okay.
I realized that the driver was not working correctly, because the driver was asking for to build all the information it needed, was asking for the entire circuit pack from the device. And that operation, I realized that in those devices where in the lab is a very heavy request that requires several minutes, and ONOS disconnected the device. So the driver now implemented now, let's say, breaks the request, not requesting all the circuit packs all together, but one at a time, and that makes the driver working also with those devices. So the driver has an implementation that goes a little further with respect to the identifier issue.
That's good. Just a quick question on my side. Did you test this on the emulators? I mean, is it backwards compatible?
Yes, sure.
Okay, sounds good.
Now, as you are aware, I'm performing other tests, but they are like a preliminary stage. I don't have any final result. As soon as I will share them.
Yeah.
We are, just to make the group aware, we are performing tests starting, let's say, on network that are close to the real networks. We are taking some metro regional network from the Italian team network, and we are looking at trying to we emulate the nodes and we let ONOS to control all the network. The network we are targeting at controlling, let's say, 300 devices more or less.
Yes, and I know you're hitting some issues in the TAPI drive, in the TAPI store. So I think there was a suggestion to deactivate that and see what the behavior is to pinpoint that as the issue. Have you tried?
Yeah, I tried. I didn't see any particular, let's say, the word in English. I don't remember. Improvement.
Okay.
The only way to let the ONOS control all those devices is to go back and use the old Metro Hall driver.
Okay, yeah, I think we might want to analyze what the difference is. We're probably storing something differently in the ports that causes the TAPI backend to do not recognize it. So I think that might be useful because otherwise it throws that exceptions that you were showing. But I guess
my intention was to try to extract the pure OpenRODEM driver from the ODTN driver, because currently the OpenRODEM driver is part of the ODTN bundle, let's say.
Yes.
And even I can disable the ODTN service, but if I try to disable other elements, also the OpenRODEM driver will be disabled. So I'm trying, my purpose is, as soon as I have time to test it, is to extract the drive, the code of the driver, name it, let's say, test driver, and use only that code alone, without all the other ODTN stuff surrounding it.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's a couple of things that you might want to do, which is there might be like some commands that we use in the ODTN that are placed in the ODTN service application that might be useful. But if you do this effort, you might as well upstream it, because it doesn't hurt having it separate, and we can always activate it on demand. So I think that if you do it, just name it OpenRODEM 2.2 maybe, and just create a new folder and just put it there and decouple it from the existing drivers. I'm totally fine with that.
Okay, I'll try. I'm not so keen with Java and all the stuff behind it, but I'll try.
Sounds good. You can always ping me on Slack or email, and we can do this. A question on my side, it will also be useful to see if the testbed that you guys are using could be shared to at least a few people that can take a look at what exactly is failing, and maybe have a little bit more knowledge of ONOS to check what the state of things is.
Okay, I'll check. I think that we may share some network, even if it's not the real network.
Yep.
But I don't know how other people may replicate running a network with such a number of devices.
Is this are these emulator Docker based?
Yeah.
Well, if you have a powerful server, you could do it.
Maybe Ramon has something like that, but I'm not sure if
I could probably try it too, because I do have some servers that I can use at ONF, possibly, whenever I have time. So maybe another option is to share the set of steps that you use to create the network. Would that be possible?
yeah.
And the image.
The image you mean the Docker images?
Yes, the Docker image.
Okay, the Docker image is available on GitLab, but the access is upon request. So if everybody that will request it to me, I'll let him reach that or download the code, the image.
Okay, if you can send the link and the instructions to the open networking, ODTN@opennetworking.org
Okay.
mailing list, that would be good. So we can, at least anybody who's interested can try it out and see what the issues are. And maybe we have a replicable test bed that we can use to debug this further, I guess. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. Perfect. Okay. Any question for Roberto related to this? Oh, okay. Then if not, thanks Roberto for presenting. It was a great presentation.
You're welcome.
So as a next update, I know there's still work ongoing on the ADVA driver for OpenConfig with extension for the optical circuit intent and not just the optical connectivity intent. I don't know exactly the last details, but there is the patch online. So that is still a draft, I think, for myself. But I'll push Alessio and the folks from ADVA to publish this further. Something else that I would like for you guys to take a look at are these two patches that come from Giuseppe, and they are still having some like Jenkins issue, but the idea is a very good one. And what this does is it exposes the underlying TAPI topology as single devices to ONOS. It was done based on the old Achino project code, again in collaboration with ADVA a long time back, and now this is being incubated into the existing ONOS code base. These are related to TAPI stuff, but the main and most important code is this behavior, this driver here, this behavior, and the existing classes here. This is what what is needed to discover this topology. And then there is also something else that Giuseppe is working on in here. So with including fixes to the REST provider that help us get the device, the proxy devices and things like that. So I still need to go through this because I need to make sure that this works with both REST devices, but also proxy devices as as Giuseppe is doing. So I need to go to the patch, but I would like everybody to take a moment and maybe just breeze through it and try to understand what's going on. And if you have any questions, you can find Giuseppe on Slack, and he's very active. So please find him here. And this, I think, this is a great addition. It enables us to control all the nodes to a single entity, which is a controller, but expose all of them in the ONOS topology. And obviously, this would allow us. Before we were just using a base switch with no idea of what was before, but now we can at least see what is down below and expose it to the northbound. So something that it's worth taking a look at, and it's part of a project, an Italian project. So I think it will be, that demo will be shared, and as soon as this is merged, I'll ask Giuseppe to show it over here. Maybe actually next time is actually a good idea to have a demo of this. Any questions? No? Okay. Then the next thing that we are working on in parallel with some of the folks of the GMPY team is that, as you guys might know, we had a demo of ONOS controlling CESNET CESNET ROADMs and amplifiers and two Cassini transponders. We had this demo last November at TIP Summit. What we plan to do is to extend that demo and present it at ECOC with a stronger topology and more standard Yang models for the exchange between ONOS and GMPY. And also have more feedback from the devices themselves which includes some power. So I will share more details as soon as we finalize the demo plans. It will probably include different type of hardware, for example, some Lumentum ROADMs directly controlled by ONOS, and again, most likely some Cassinis, and will probably be a longer span of fiber with some required power optimization that was not really required in the TIP Summit demo, because it was very short fiber spans. So on this, we're working with the usual CESNET guys, so Jan, and then all this GMPY team and the Polytechnic of Turin. If anybody is interested, just drop me an email. I can put you in contact with the folks that are putting this together in terms of also hardware. And we can include possibly some more hardware that from different people. So if you're interested, just let me know. And that's really it. Is there any question on this? No? Okay.
Yes.
Hey, Dominique.
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yes. Hi, Andrea and all. Concerning this demo, I noted that there are Lumentum devices and Cassini devices, right? This is for the open-line system devices are Lumentums. This is what you indicated, right?
At least at this point in time, that's the hardware we were looking for. But it might change, it might be extended. I know the Polytechnic of Turin guys have some good relationship with other companies that they're trying to put into the demo. So it can be really whatever. I don't have a preference as usual.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so keep me in the loop. Yes, I'm interested to follow up of maybe what we can possibly do. Yeah, inside.
Okay, sounds good. What I can do is send me an email
Okay, I will do.
And I will forward it to Jan and the people and Vittorio at Polytechnic of Turin, and I put you together in contact, because I'm not managing the topology this time. I'm not managing any physical hardware this time at ONF, because with the current situation, it would be kind of useless putting it into the ONF Menlo lab, and we have power restrictions and things like that. So they already have most of the hardware that is needed for this, and they have the space, so they will be hosting it. I'll put you in contact with them, and we see what we can do.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Nick.
Sure.
Okay. Last, any other question? No. Okay. So last topic of the day before we break or we get to any other topic that people have is that there are some ongoing updates to the ODTN emulators on the ODTN emulator repo, because we probably need to have them properly report some differences in the Yang models that were done, and also they were most likely not implementing the modulation config, and there is some discussion on the mailing list that was brought in by some folks at CPQD. I know there was a discussion on accepting the modulation on the emulators, which is really nothing, because at the moment the emulators don't have any data path, but at least you can see the exchange. And there was some error in there. I do believe this is related to an unknown element. I was seeing this issue here. Let me just copy paste it. That Luciano posted on the ODTN mailing list, and it says that the request is not successful, and it's an error in the ONOS logs. Just do this. I'll take it out later, but at least you guys see what I mean. And this is the error that was when you do an edit config for the modulation. It tries to set the component optical channel modulation, and this is not actually present. So this object is not actually present in the emulator, but also we probably ought to have a different version of the driver, because this modulation was our proposal to the OpenConfig standard, and it's not really yet accepted. What needs to be placed in there, it's another key that is which is this terminal operation mode ID. This mode ID is what needs to be modified. And that's not exactly the modulation. So I need to make sure that this actually works. And it's probably a small change going back to another driver. So it's a change in the XML, or we need to change the edit config in the driver itself. So I'll take an action item on myself to make sure what exactly this is, and why it fails on this thing. So thanks Luciano for pointing it and bringing it up to the mailing list. I'll take a look. Most likely that.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. And it's probably most likely due to some refactoring that happened some time ago, at least like some time ago. And We looked at the Cassini and did some work there, but then we used the GNMI driver, so that's why we might not have seen this until now. So. Because the original proposal was to have this as modulation, because that was decoupling it from a vendor-specific operational mode ID. That was really the reason why we wanted to have modulation. That's why we proposed it there, and I think it got connected to the driver implementation. I'll take a look. There should be no major task. I'll let you know, and I'll share a patch with everybody whenever this is ready. Okay. Any questions? Okay, then if not, that was all the topics I had for the day related to the discussion we needed to have and the updates that I wanted the people to share. But if anybody has any other topics that they want to bring up, I would very much like to discuss them with everybody. Even questions or other thoughts that needs to be discussed with the team or with the rest of the community. Okay. Then if not, we'll get some time back for the day. Thanks everybody for joining, and I look forward to seeing your reviews on Roberto's patch and seeing the scripts and the Docker image for replicating this scale thing that we're looking at. And also the reviews on Giuseppe's patch. Please do take those, and I'll make sure to give an update to everybody about this as soon as I can, and maybe fix this fairly shortly. Okay. Thanks everybody for joining, and until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Bye. Thank you.